what's up guys, and welcome to the New World Interactive weekly live stream. I'm your host, Alex Blonsky, and today we're gonna get a little hyped up. We don't have new gameplay footage today, but we have a lot of new news and announcements before we get to E3 this year. Thought since you're going to be seeing a lot of our game coming up, that we might as well give you a ton of information in advance so that it doesn't kind of get drowned out when all the other noise kind of comes out during E3. So to start with, Insurgency Sandstorm, maybe you've heard of it, is going to be coming out on PC this September. We don't have an exact like day yet, but September of this year. So if you want to mark your calendars, you have a month to mark. We'll give you guys an exact day when we're closer to launch, but we're penciling ourselves in for September, so we should be out before a lot of our big competition this year. So pretty excited about that. Next big thing, price. We've had a lot of people wondering about price. I think there was some weird leak. The Canadian Walmart said that Sandstorm was going to be out for $80 Canadian. Well, last time I checked, $30 US doesn't equal $80 Canadian. That's right. We're going to be launching at $30 USD. And for those of you guys that are longtime Insurgency fans, we're going to be giving you guys a discount. Anybody that owns Insurgency inside of the Steam store, we are going to be giving them 10% off of their purchase. So if you own Insurgency or have never played Insurgency before, I would highly suggest going to the Steam store and trying it out. I believe it's $2.50 right now, which would make it about 50-cent savings on the regular purchase price for the game. So I think that should be pretty competitive with a lot of our competitors, but we'll have to see. It's pretty cool. I don't know if we'll do as steep a discounts to start, but one discount that you guys can take hold of is pre-orders. So if you go in and pre-order the game, you can't pre-order yet. We'll make an announcement as soon as the pre-order store page is up. But you'll get 10% off the game. That's an additional 10%. So 10% off for those that own Insurgency and 10% off for those that pre-order the game. So a lot of ways to save off of the game even before it comes out. Let's see. So got through some of the big news for PC. For console, unfortunately, we've had to push back console to the first half of 2019. We're busy trying to polish console as quickly as possible, but PC has kind of been our main focus right now, as we have a very large background in the PC community, and console is new for us. As I've said before many times on the stream, we have 40 developers, and we want to give you guys the right experience. The experience at least the console deserves. So we are going to be delaying that to the first half of 2019 so it can give it a bit more polish beforehand. We want the console audience to get the best first impression that we can possibly give. In terms of pre-orders that I mentioned, yeah, pre-orders are coming soon. And one of the other benefits besides the discount that you will get if you are pre-ordering the game is that you will get access to a beta before the game launches. It might not be the only testing that we're doing, but the beta in this case should be close to the full version of the game with a few bugs, and obviously getting people into the game helps us clear up the bugs, and then we can easily squash them afterwards. So we're excited to have a beta coming up soon, and we will be releasing details of that soon as well. Like I said, there's a lot more surprises to come, and a lot more stuff to reveal in the future. Let's see. Game modes. So we had a lot of questions before about which game modes are in the game for launch. For multiplayer, push, firefight, and capture the base. And we've got checkpoint for co-op, and we're hoping to get in outpost and operation after release. So lots of game modes to try out, and we're hoping to expand into other game modes as we get done with the big launch festivities. Let's see. In terms of DLC, it's been it's been kind of our MO in the past to release our games, then update them for free over time, and that is not going to change with Sandstorm. Free content updates. We plan to expand with new weapons, upgrades, maps, and other content. Obviously, we have a lot of stuff that we want to work on post-launch, and we're excited to bring extra content to you guys for free. And yeah, we'll release more information about that as we get closer and closer to obviously post-release. But yeah, continue with free content upgrades. We also plan to do, if you are a modder or a big fan of mods for our games, we plan to include mod support and hopefully support for a Steam Workshop, custom map tools, and game rule adjustments per server. Let's see. Other news. Loadouts. So we had tons of questions. How many weapons are in the game? How many upgrades are in the game? Well, we're planning on around 40 weapons for the final game, and 40 attachments or upgrades, which of course we can always add more after the game is out. In terms of fire support, the types of fire support you can call in, if you haven't heard about fire support, is basically 2 different classes can operate with each other and call in, whether it be like jet airstrikes, explosive artillery, we have chemical mortars, suicide drones, helicopters with rockets, miniguns, and autocannons. The helicopters are actually kind of crazy. Like especially in Day of Infamy, you hear the plane overhead, and you know to kind of run or to get indoors. When you hear the helicopter come in, you're thinking the same thing inside Insurgency. The helicopter is pretty good, but like you've seen in previous videos, you can shoot down the helicopter. So there'll be lots of strategy, and you won't be just shooting RPGs at teammates, you'll be shooting RPGs at helicopters. Let's see. Character customization. I had a lot of questions on the last week's Q&A stream about character customization. So character customization, we have character customization in a bunch of different ways. So not only can you add things to make your appearance look different, but we also have the option of choosing which voice you use for your character. In terms of voices, Mikey and the team have recorded 6,500 lines of character dialogue, including Arab fighters, both for security and insurgent forces. So get to play as Arab fighters for both sides. American Special Operations soldiers, fire support coordinators, and air support pilots. So there's a lot of voice that went into the game. We don't just have Mikey this time. We worked with a bunch of great voice actors, and they spent a lot of time blowing out their voices, dying on mic for you. So hope you guys enjoy that when that comes out. As well, in terms of the customization for characters, the visual stuff, we have no plans to include the Steam Marketplace, item trading, or loot crates. So had a bunch of questions before about loot crates. No loot crates inside of Sandstorm. The custom items won't affect gameplay, and they'll be unlocked via ranks. And by getting in-game currency in the game, you can use to buy stuff directly, but not actual currency, guys. So In terms of other miscellaneous stuff that I haven't mentioned, maps are much bigger. They have better visual quality. And had a Reddit post this week about dismemberment. I revealed a little bit by accident last week. But yeah, we do have dismemberment in the game. It gets kind of nutty in terms of blowing up bodies and that sort of thing and how dismemberment works. But yeah, dismemberment will be in the game. So one thing I mentioned earlier was that we're not going to have new footage just quite yet. You might have to wait a little bit for that, closer to E3 time. But what I do have is a bunch of new screenshots. So I'm just going to run those in the background while we continue to talk. If you want to check out Mikey's full update announcement, check out that link posted to YouTube and to Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube after the fact, the link will be below, and you read Mikey's like full update. I kind of went it through a bunch of like summarized points, but yeah, let's go through and answer some questions. $30 a steal, great deal. LOL. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we're gonna be competing against some big games with some big prices, and I think we're gonna be a really good option for people. You're gonna know that we're gonna be updating the game for free for a while, and it's gonna be a pretty good value proposition compared to our competition. Will there be a proper ranked matchmaking system? Yes. Ranked matchmaking will come to the firefight mode. So firefight is a 5v5 mode that will have ranking and matchmaking. Still going through tests, and we hope to do a lot more tests when we have people into the beta. But yeah, we will have ranked matchmaking. Let's see. Crossplay between consoles and PC? No, we're not planning on that. It would be hard to do it's hard to do the compatibility, and especially doing upgrades on top of each platform, making sure that they work. And it's very hard with a first-person shooter type game to make that incredibly balanced. Let's see. $29.99 means $29.99 EU2. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the Steam Store currency conversion works. I don't know if we get to individually set those prices. Let's see. Target performance across all systems, 1080p, 60 FPS. I mean, on PC, it's going to run as fast as you can run it, basically, right? For console, we still have to go through full optimization, and obviously with it coming out next year on console, early next year, we haven't gone through those optimizations yet. Let's see. Release date for beta. We'll talk about more about release dates for beta in the future. Still got a lot more stuff to unwrap as soon as we get closer to E3. Hopefully some new footage and that sort of stuff too. Let's see. What kind of regions will you guys focus on for maps? So we have a bunch of different like scenarios. The maps that you're seeing right now, there's actually two maps. The one you see here is, I believe, Mountain, we're currently calling it. I'm not sure if that'll be the final title for the game. And there was another map in here as well. But yeah, there'll be a variety of places, but it'll be mostly taking place in the Middle East in terms of what our environments look like. Is the PC release date sooner than console? Yeah, PC release date September of this year. Is there any plan for 4K support for Xbox One and PS Pro? We will be. We'll try to get it resolution up as high as possible, but obviously we have to balance against frame rate as well. We'll have to see as we get closer through optimization and that sort of thing. who owns this game doesn't need to pay anything more for it, do you? Well, if you own the game, you will get a discount off the game. You get a 10% discount. You also get a 10% discount off of pre-ordering the game. But it is a fully new game, new engine, tons of new features, matchmaking, ranking, vehicles, like the list goes on and on. So it's an entirely brand new game. Let's see. Will Insurgency be available to pre-order this summer? Insurgency Sandstorm will be able to be pre-ordered very soon. Not like Valve time soon, like soon. Let's see. How many people will play on one map? It depends on the game mode. For a game mode like Push or Capture the Base, it can be up to 16 players versus 16 players. So 32 players total. If it's Firefight, which is our like tactical, hardcore ranked gameplay, it is a 5v5 game mode. So there's a lot of difference between depending on which game mode you're picking. Let's see. Sorry if I skip over some questions. Obviously, I'm getting a lot right now. Let's see. It sounds like how you've set it up in game with ranking and getting customization be very fair, like you have done it for Day of Infamy. I hope there are other country factions as well. So we're not doing like country factions like we did during well, our World War II game Day of Infamy, but there will be a lot of options for you to be able to customize your character. We can't put in like, I guess we could technically put in specific badges to put like a country's uniform, that sort of thing. It's just not something that I've seen yet in game. Let's see. So how much it costs and how much it costs if you own it already. It will cost $30 if you don't own it. I guess technically it would cost $27 US if you did own Insurgency. So if you've never played Insurgency before and you own a PC, I would highly suggest going to the Steam store right now and buying Insurgency. It's $250. So it's less now than the 10% that you get off for not owning it. So I would definitely try owning Insurgency and get the discount off the game, and you can start playing some of those game modes now and get used to that sort of gameplay. Let's see. What about it? Mods, like in DIY, you can't have custom player models in official servers, so will Sandstorm be like this? I'm not sure about the custom server rules and that sort of thing, but we'll release more mod information as we get closer, what's available and what's not available. Let's see. Will Insurgency Sandstorm be playable at E3? Will the beta have an NDA like the alpha did? So if the Sandstorm will be playable E3, I'm leaving for E3 on June, I think it's 11th. And the first day I'm there is the 12th, and we're there all week. And we'll be providing updates from the floor. So excited to do that. It'll be my first E3. And get to meet some of the other guys as well, and maybe talk to some other developers, that sort of thing. So so it'd be exciting. And obviously for you guys back at home, we'll be trying to provide as many screenshots and videos and updates and that sort of thing from the floor as we get it, and hopefully do a more of a actual full reveal of the game as we go forward. System requirements, we don't have system requirements yet, but I believe we should have them with pre-orders. I just have to double check on that. Obviously, if you're pre-ordering something, you should probably know what the system requirements are for it. Can I give you money right now and give right now a copy? I don't know. Probably not. You probably just gonna have to wait just a slight little bit until pre-orders open up, and then you can purchase your copy. Dude, how's it to work with the Unreal Engine in terms of gun and gameplay? It's surprising how close to Insurgency that we were able to match Sandstorm. It's been very easy to start working with all the tools that are available. There's a lot of like default tool sets. If you go look up the Unreal Engine 4, and see what's available, there's a lot of features that it gives you out of the box, and even that are like front end facing features that you guys will see in game. That is going to be pretty exciting. Can't show all that stuff off, but you probably get some hints if you go to the Unreal 4 engine page and look down like the list of features what the engine includes. Let's see. Sorry, just reading through. Some people are talking to each other rather than asking questions. Will there be physical copies of pre-order? I believe we should be doing physical copies as well. We do have a publisher this time around, so we should have physical copies. Destructible environments I had asked, and somebody answered in chat. There won't be destructible environments. You can breach doors and stuff, but nothing like Battlefield. Yeah, so destructible doors, we want to keep like the levels fair and to balance around destructible items and that sort of thing. It doesn't really work for the way that our maps work and our gameplay works, so it's not something that that we're looking into right now. When will I be able to pre-order? Very soon. Very soon. Any female characters? We do have female characters in the game with female voices. There's females that fight on either side of Middle Eastern conflicts, and we definitely want to reflect it. I know that there was a big backlash to Battlefield having female characters in a World War II game, and for those that have that really like well, realism, yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. We're a more modern shooter, and obviously there's females on either side, and people can choose whether or not they want to run as a female character. Let's see if I can catch up. Will there be like more than 2 teams, Russians, American, Chinese, etc.? If they are, what type? We don't split our factions by country. We've got factions based on security forces and insurgent forces. So there's Americans and yeah, sorry, there's Americans and there should be Arab fighters that actually fight for both forces, but you should be able to clearly distinguish between the two in game. We don't have countries thus far inside of the game. Will we hear more about Capture the Base at E3? I'm not sure. At E3, we're going to be showing off the game. We're going to be doing gameplay tests with journalists and that sort of thing. And we're hoping to reveal some footage. Hopefully some of that includes Capture the Base, but we'll have to see. Let's see. Do females have different hitboxes? I would not assume so. Generally, all of our models tend to be on like the skinny side. We don't have like these big, bulking bruiser type military guys you see in some of the other games. Generally, everybody's kind of skinny, and so I would say that that the hitboxes should be the same no matter what model you go through. Let's see. Will pre-orders be available in Steam or in the website? I believe pre-orders we're going to throw up on Steam, but we should have a bunch of different options for pre-orders if you're getting a physical copy as well. Why did we decide to scrap certain game modes like Ambush? Generally because not that many people were playing them. And for new people that are coming into the game, some of those game modes are definitely confusing to them. So we've said for the Ambush community, it's something that we may go back into post-launch, but it's not something that we're going to be looking at for launch. Like I said, we're going to be looking at new weapons and new attachments and new game modes after launch. So if Ambush is one of them, then Ambush is one of them. But we have to figure that out based on our priorities and what our community feedback is. When will system requirements for Sandstorm be released? Probably around time of pre-orders. Let's see. Anita Sarkeesian is in charge of NWI. So sad. Well, I don't know what to tell you, dude. There's females in the army, and there's female insurgent fighters that are fighting battles right now in the world. I don't know what to tell you more than that. You should probably look up some pictures of maybe some army men, some current people fighting current battles instead of World War II battles. That's what I would suggest. Yeah, I know somebody mentioned the dismemberment. Obviously, not every shot is going to end up in dismemberment like the photo you just seen, but for certain explosions and that sort of thing, it's going to get pretty messy. Let's see. Is Sandstorm optimized for gamepad or mouse keyboard? Generally, we test mouse keyboard first, but we're definitely going to have to include some sort of gamepad support, especially if we're going to consoles. When can we expect new gameplay footage? Well, E3 is coming up. I believe E3 starts on June the 12th and runs to the 14th, if I remember correctly. Let me double check this. Yeah, June 12th to 14th. So what I would do is, if you are excited about Sandstorm, keep up to date with any information on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/insurgencygame. And then we should have our Twitter account, twitter.com/insurgencygame, and then our Facebook account, facebook.com/insurgencygame. Who knew that it was going to be exactly the same for all of them? Yeah, and we will update you guys, well, from the show floor, and hopefully some more stuff than that as well. There'll be a lot of new stuff to check out. Console release window, we're hoping sometime in early 2019. Why does PC get it first? PC we've been doing the most extensive testing on, and quite frankly we have the biggest background on. We are only a 40-man development studio. We are an independent development studio, and obviously taking on like simultaneous release and that sort of thing is a lot of work, and we want to make sure that you guys get on console get the best experience possible when you're starting to play the game. And because we're not doing things like cross-platform play between PC and console, it doesn't necessarily have to be released the same time, and we'll get back into kind of launch hype for console when we get closer to console launch. New weapons, models, sounds, etc. Tons. Like I said, there are... I'm just going to link the document again in chat, but there is 6,500 new lines of dialogue, tons of new weapons, 40 weapons, 40 attachments. There's a lot. Yeah, so if you've played Insurgency, you'll see some old favorites, and you will see a bunch of new stuff as well. Let's see. How do you plan to support the competitive esports scene post-release? So we're still under discussions about what we do officially for esports. But if you are interested in the esports scene, I mean, there's an active esports scene for Insurgency right now. In fact, they're signing up teams right now for competitive Insurgency. So check out, if somebody that is a fan can link the Insurgency Gym. Go look up the Insurgency Gym, or the DGL, the Digital Gaming League. The Insurgency Gym is a good place to get into like pickup games and get good at Firefight, which is the competitive mode, and then join the DGL Discord server, because they are signing up teams for their Firefight season coming up for PC, and also a tournament coming up. I believe they're calling it World War III, which is kind of funny because there's a trailer out this week for a game called World War III. Let's see. Does the game have airstrikes like Day of Infamy? Yep, we have a bunch of different call-ins that you can do. I'll just read them off again. Let's see. Just give me 2 seconds here. Let's see. Jet airstrikes, explosive artillery, chemical mortars, suicide drones. I think you saw suicide drones in some of the other previous footage. Helicopters with rockets, miniguns, and autocannons. So a bunch of different options. That's just some of the ones that we've listed, but there's quite a few call-ins that you can do. Smoke drops, all sorts of stuff. Serious question. If someone blows off my arm, can I upgrade my character with a prosthetic arm? No. No, we are... if somebody blows off your arm, most likely you're going to die on the battlefield. Let's see. Yeah, New World is in chat. I guess one of our other developers. We would be sharing more for during actual E3. We wanted to get a lot of the information-based stuff out of the way, because it's hard to add that in these short little clips. So we want to make sure that you guys get all the information that you need before E3 is out. Let's see. Would there be smaller classic style maps along with the bigger ones with vehicles? So yeah, it depends on the game mode you're playing and the map you're playing. There's all sorts of different layouts depending on which version of the map and the game mode that you're playing. So obviously the 5v5 ones kind of shrink down. The big maps get really big to support vehicles, bigger than our current maps. So so there's a lot of different size options depending on the game mode that you're playing. Will the Mac version be released at the same time as PC or console? Mac, we're hoping to do a post PC update to support Mac and Linux. So not at this launch at the same time as PC, so not right at when we launch in September, but hopefully soon after. Let's see. How many maps are available at launch? I can't say yet. Let's see. How is the switch to Unreal Engine 4? Is the work process a lot faster there? It's the tools and the tool set is really good. I mean, it's baked right out of the box, so you can pick up and use it. And of course, there's a lot of support from the development community that have made plugins and additions and like guides on how to get the best out of the engine. So yeah, because it's such a widely used engine, it's definitely a lot easier to pick up and play. Let's see. What will be the price of the game? $30. And that 10% off that if you own Insurgency already, and 10% off that if you go and pre-order. So I would suggest if you are a big or you want to get into Insurgency and you can't wait to September, you're hyped up and you've never played Insurgency before, definitely go check out the Steam store now. Insurgency's there. I believe it's on sale, and yeah, you can play the game, and then when the game comes out, you get a discount. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. And of course, you'll have like an edge on people because you'll already experience that style of gameplay. As a console player, it's upsetting to hear that it's being delayed, but it's completely understandable. I hope you don't miss out on dissatisfied Call of Duty and Battlefield players. Yeah, I mean, what I've seen in the past, at least in terms of those players, is those players are going to be dissatisfied and looking for something no matter what. Obviously, if you've never played our game before or haven't seen footage of Insurgency or Day of Infamy or that sort of thing, we try to cover like a middle ground between those style of games like Call of Duty or Battlefield and a more simulation type game. So we still have like the fast action, but it is one-shot kill. It is hardcore, and you can play it really tactically if you like to. In terms of the HUD, we don't cram the HUD with a bunch of like kill counters or plus 50 point scores. Everything is kind of stripped down to make it as immersive as possible. And one thing I've always said about our games is the sounds and the atmosphere when you're playing it, and with the HUD in there makes it that so that that it looks and feels a lot more real when you're playing the game. There's not the same level of distraction, and every bomb strike, every bullet that hits past you, you get more, I don't know, tense and uptight than when you do. It sounds like a pea shooter, or sounds like you're like spitting watermelon seeds. Let's see. Will we have more traditional weapons similar to Insurgency, or are you guys going to try to include some more exotic options? So there will be some carryovers from Insurgency, but there will be a lot of new weapons as well, including some interesting ones, some suggestions that have come in from the community, some ones that our development team have been big fans and wanted to get into the game for a while. So yeah, there's going to be a ton of weapon and loadout options for you. Like I said, around 40 weapons for launch and about 40 add-ons for launch. Any legacy maps at launch? So we're not doing legacy maps. There are some people in the community that are trying to go out there and rebuild certain Insurgency maps. Some of the Firefight community especially is trying to make Firefight maps, some of the classic ones, but we're doing all new maps inside of Insurgency. Let's see. How will drones be realized? I think it's going to be more like Rainbow Six style or non-realistic. We'd have to show you in game. I think that would be the best way to show you. It's hard to describe it, but generally drones are just going to home in on a target, especially if you're on an opposing force, and you have to see what they do when they get close to it. Though if you look closely at previous trailers, you can probably figure it out. Release date the same for Linux and Windows. So Windows will come out in September, and we're hoping to get Mac and Linux support post-release, so after that. I won't miss Sinjar, that's for sure. Omega lol. It depends on the style of map you like. Some people love Sinjar. It's really weird. I'm not a fan myself when I'm personally playing. I tend to like the smaller, more enclosed maps, but that could be because when I started playing, I kind of started playing Firefight on these like smaller maps. But that's just me. Let's see. Is bullet model gonna be bullet model can be hit scan or projectile, so it depends on the distance that you're shooting. It's hard to describe, but we're including both in game. You have to see how it works in game. It's going to be different than most other games. We're not just going just hit scan or just projectile. It's kind of a combination of the two. Can I blow the entire team with C4 at spawn because it feels so good? Well, we do have definitely spawn protection like we've had in Insurgency in the past, but people with good skills at C4, I mean, yeah, it could happen. I don't think you could do it right at spawn, but you could find a good point where you think people are going to run through and use C4. And obviously, it's up to the other team to scout that out and make sure that you don't get that position on the map. We'll have the same requirements as the Source Engine one. No, we're definitely going to have higher system requirements than Source Engine, but we haven't released official system requirements yet. Let's see. At New World, did you improve bot AI? So we've had a bunch of bot AI testing sessions recently, and there's certain ones where like the dev team just keeps on dying. It'll dev team and like all of our testers, which include some pretty good Insurgency players. And if we're dying a lot on bots, I mean, the bots are pretty good in certain modes. So yeah, I think that the bot AI hopefully should be improved over in what you get inside of Insurgency. Seems pretty difficult right now, but we'll continue to balance it. Let's see. Is optimization a priority on launch? Optimization is always a priority. Without optimization, we can't even test in-game, right? So we continue to optimize every single time. There's different passes, lighting passes on levels. There's lots of changes to rendering and that sort of thing. You'll find we'll find certain things that will make the game slow down in general, whether they be vehicles, certain weapons, throwing grenades. There's all sorts of weird bugs that will crop up when you're testing a game. And we're hoping to get the game as optimized as possible when we release it. How many frames is the game running at the moment at 1080p high settings, and with which parts? I don't know, dude. Like my system's not one that you could base it off of. Like I have a 6-year-old processor, but I've got like a 1070. So I've got like a weird Frankenstein PC. I don't think my PC would be a good one to base your recommendation off of. I would wait until pre-order's up, which should be pretty soon. Let's see, release date, yeah, September of this year. gameplay to show, you might have to wait a little bit longer. I hear that there's a big event in Los Angeles coming up with 3 EEs in it. Let's see. If you had to choose one new feature that Insurgency Sandstorm incorporates, what would it be? What are you most excited about Insurgency Sandstorm? What are you most disappointed with? It's an interesting one. Most excited because I love Firefight. I'm really looking forward to just hitting a matchmaking button and being properly ranked and going into a server with people of similar skill level and starting like a 5v5 fight right now. Because if I'm to join like a 10-man Firefight server right now, well, that means that the server I'm joining is actually a 4v5 fight, which is probably unfair by the time I start that match. So I wanted it to start right from the beginning, start the game, get my ranking, play with similar level players, and go from there. Most disappointed on? I don't know. That's a weird one. I don't know. I do, for the people that are a bit disappointed about the console thing. It is, yeah, I do feel you. I mean, we definitely want to get the experiences polished as much as possible, and I definitely look forward to a lot of positive feedback about the console version. But it would be nice to launch everything at once. But I understand the reason why the development team had to make that decision, and we definitely want to make it the best experience possible. And the cool thing is that we get to develop the game in tandem over that period of time too, so we can continue adding to the game and making sure that it runs properly before it comes out on console. Let's see. What has been your most memorable moment during development or testing? Some of the ones are just hilarious bugs. Like, I've talked about the one before where like you can basically launch somebody off of like a truck by having one person jump on one side of the truck and it catapults the guy on the back of the truck like into the air like a rag doll. That one was fun. There was a recent one that annoyed the hell out of people. That was as soon as you got in like one of our drivable vehicles and beeped the horn would just continue to sound for like 2 minutes straight, and everybody would just freak out on the person that beeped the horn. So that happened a bunch. Yeah, there's all sorts of hilarious stuff that happens during testing. Those are probably the ones that stand out to me the most. But the gameplay stuff has been fun too. There's been lots of rounds where we've had insane clutches and people finding out new areas of the map, and those are always fun as well. Let's see. Are there animations for entering, exiting vehicles? I'd have to double check. I don't remember off the top of my head if I've seen animations, but I have to check it out next time I'm in. Wait, so old maps will be in the game? I see some people saying none, but I saw Burwitz in the background. That is not Burwitz. All right, how do you pronounce that? Burwitz? I'm gonna have to check into that. One interesting thing, and I've said it on live streams before, is we're not recreating old maps, but we have taken inspiration from some older maps in some certain smaller areas. You might be able to recognize certain sections or certain portions of what they've been inspired by. But yeah, no, we're not directly porting maps over, and the maps are almost entirely new. Let's see. I'll do a bit more Q&A, and then I will wrap up the stream here in a little bit. I want to make sure that our YouTube video is short enough so people that will go and actually watch it. Obviously, if people have more questions, you can always ask them on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube in the video. Be a ton of different ways. So so let us know your feedback. Dedicated server files, yes, no, or maybe. I'm not sure personally. We'll release any information about hosting servers or mods or modding and that sort of thing once we get closer to launch. I want a huge map. Which is the biggest map currently? Biggest map? I'd have to. I don't. There's been ones where it takes a long time for you to run across. Like in some of the ones, especially the ones that are capture the base mode, taking a vehicle is almost a necessity at some points for you to catch up or to get to certain points on the map to take out certain objectives. So there's a lot of running in some of those game modes if you do not use vehicles. So some of those maps tend to be really big and give people a lot of options for places to flank, to put in angles, that sort of thing. The maps get pretty big. I mean, you can see in the background right now, this is one of our maps. You can only see like kind of like a portion of it too. It extends beyond what you see and just the angle that we've taken inside of them. So you imagine that these are big enough to house vehicles, and there's smaller enclosed spaces for some of our smaller game modes as well. Do you need another tester right now? Asking for a friend, wink wink. Also, thanks for taking the time to answer all the questions. Thanks, man. Right now, we are full on internal testers. But we obviously are looking to add a bunch more testers once we do the pre-order. Like I said, anybody that goes and pre-orders the game will be invited to an early test of the game, and that should be fun to have people back in from the public testing the game again. We've played with like the same hardcore group of players over and over again, and it's nice to get new impressions on the game. No date for the beta yet, but stay tuned because obviously we're gonna have to talk about it soon. We're well, about 3 months away, so there's still some time. Can we expect an open closed beta at some time? Yep. If you check the release that we sent out today, I will just link it again in chat. We are planning on having a beta. Right now, the only thing that we're talking about is for people that do pre-orders, but yeah, we're going to get a lot more community people inside of the game. This will probably be my first pre-order ever. That's awesome, man. Usually pre-orders, I think a lot of companies tend to try to screw you, try to get you to get like extra add-ons and additions. We wanted to give our people a discount for pre-ordering, and obviously if you're a longtime fan, you get another discount as well. So it's pretty awesome that to be able to offer that kind of stuff. I mean, if you already own Insurgency and you are pre-ordering the game, I mean, it's basically down to $24, I guess, at that point, just doing math in my head, which seems like a pretty good deal for a new game that we're gonna continue to update for free. So excited to have a lot more people playing Insurgency, whether it be old Insurgency, the Insurgency Modern Combat, or Insurgency Sandstorm. There's going to be a lot of people playing. Let's see. Pre-order available yet? No. So any of the news that we haven't talked about today, definitely subscribe to our Twitter account, twitter.com/insurgencygame, facebook.com/insurgencygame, and we'll let you guys know as soon as those pages open up for pre-orders. And obviously there'll be a bunch of information along with E3 as well. Journalists will be covering the game. We're hoping to cover the game a bit from the show floor and to show you guys off a bunch of new stuff as well. Let's see. Can you put the game on Steam without a pre-order button on Steam? I don't know. I haven't gone in there and fiddled with it, but yeah, we want to make sure our page is up to date as possible with as much information as possible for people pre-ordering. So yeah, as soon as we're ready to go, we'll put that page up. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna do today for questions. Usually what I'd end up doing is like a gameplay stream after, but I might actually go in and do another one later on today or maybe tomorrow, just a gameplay session to maybe do a few more questions. But if you have more questions or more feedback, definitely reply to our post on Twitter or on Facebook or on the YouTube video if you're watching that, and I'll try to respond to as many as I possibly can. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Thanks to all the Insurgency fans. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to work on these games, to release these games, and it's thanks to you that we're in the position of being able to launch games on console and PC and have these big releases and that sort of thing. And definitely check us out during E3, because there'll be a bunch of stuff to check out. But I think that's all the time we have for today, and I want to thank you guys, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.